In this video, in this project, you will be learning to develop a simple graphical user interface, creating the user interface components, the UI positioning, and using layouts and different layouts and API discussions. So we'll be discussing it in a very practical manner. So we'll be developing this code practically, and this will be the output. It's a simple user interface with a label and a button, but you will learn a lot of important concepts practically. So let's do it now practically. Question is, when you add the label to this window, where will it get added? Is it at the beginning or is it toward the left or right? So that depends on the layout of the container, right? I'm repeating once again. So the position of the label, where it gets added, depends on the layout of the container, right? So to start with, now you have to understand that there are a couple of layouts. There are a few layouts in Java which is very important. There are a couple of layouts in Java. So let me add that also into your slides, right? So approaches and conclusions. So let me put a slide in between about different layouts in Java, right? So different layouts in Java, in a Java GUI, right? Java graphical user interface application, right? Okay, so what are the different layouts? So if you look at again, if you do a Google search and find, you will see that there are things called flow layout, right? There are a couple of layouts in Java, right? So flow layout is one of them. You have grid layout, you have card layout, right? So if you look at the Java API, it will say, okay, in the flow layout, how things are positioned. Let me show you another one. You got something called grid layout in Java, right? So if you look at the grid layout, the API will tell you that the grid layout will be positioning components like in a grid, whereas in the flow layout, it positions like in a floating manner, like one after the other. So if you have a layout of flow layout, your components will be like floated, one after the other. If not, if you had a grid layout, right, those are classes, your components will be like in rows and columns, like in a grid, right? So but keep in mind, this API is a technical document, right? So sometimes some of you might find it difficult to start with the API, but of course you have to start with the API. But as a support, you can get look at some other resources in Google, some other websites speaking, like tutorials and stuff like it. So what I'm telling is, that is, if you want to become a developer, that's how you think, right? So this video series is to support you to become a developer, right, in a short period of time. Okay guys, so I got a couple of layouts, so I'm going to put them in our short notes. So we got flow layout, right, as layouts. Then we got grid layout, but keep in mind there are a lot more different layouts, right? So uh, so they implement, so grid layout is parent is object, flow layouts parent, but they implement interfaces. So if you don't know what are interfaces, look at our other video about Java interfaces, right? You will see that we have. So if I look at the layout manager interface just for a sec, right, just for a sec, if I look at the layout manager interface, you will see that okay, it's an interface, right? I'm just showing you, you don't have to worry a lot, but you can see all non implementing classes. So see, flow layout, right, grid layout, group layout, right? So these are basically border layout. I'm just showing you, right? So all the layouts in Java inherits from this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this from here and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to keep a few, so combo box layout manager, so tile, I'm going to select a few, but there are lots of layouts, right? So I'm going to select a few, divider layout, a lot guys, a lot, right? I'm keeping just a few, right? Vertical layout manager, just a few. I would keep, okay, border layout, right, just box layout, but as you saw, there are a lot of layouts. Card layout, just to show you that there are a lot of layouts, right? Then guys, the flow layout, grid bag layout. So this is just a few, as you saw, the grid layout, right? I think I got it earlier as well. Group layout, did I get it earlier? No, so I'll keep the group layout, root layout, data, JSP, cool. Yeah, just guys, this is just to give you an idea, right? There are a lot of layouts, so depending on the layout, the as you saw, depending on the layout, the positioning of the component changes. That's so layout, simple, straightforward. Layout decides how components are positioned, right? The layout decides. So these are the few layouts. So I started with flow layout. So now you saw in flow layout, if you look at the API or any tutorial, you see it's placed one after the other. So because it's just components are placed one after the other, you don't have to give the position because they are automatically placed one after the other. So if you are using a flow layout, guys, you don't have to tell the position of the component, right? You don't have to tell because it's automatically positioned one after the other, right? Same if you use, let us say, a grid layout, you don't have to tell the position, right? And if you don't specify any layout, we have something called null layout, right? So you just pass null, when you say null, we call it as null layout, right? So I will show it in our one of the other examples. So if you have a null layout, for example, then how you position your components is, for each component you will give the position, right? Telling x, y, x coordinate, y coordinate, width and the height. But for flare layout, border layout, grid layout, for those you don't have to give the position, right? So in this example, I don't have to give the position because I'm using flow layout. So I just set the text and just add it. So it gets added as the first element, right? If I add another element, it gets added after this, right? So awesome, we are at the last step. Finally, display the container. So to display the container, once again you have to look at the API or do a Google search. Then you will find, guys, that on the JFrame there's a method called set visible, and as you can see, the parameter is a boolean. So set visible makes this displayed, and boolean, if you say true, it makes it visible. Wonderful, wonderful. So let's run and see this, right? I'm going to quickly compile this. So I'm going to say run and build. Okay, so project, where's project, okay, run, build. Okay, cool, build the project. So build means it's compiling, right? So if there's any error, it will let me know, right? Okay, no errors. So I'm going to run this now. So I'm going to click the run button over here, and I'm going to select the main class because I got one class, and click it, and let's see what's happening. Awesome, guys, awesome. Can you see? Just be happy, people, just be happy viewers, right? So you got your first GUI, right? It's just in front of you, right? Feel the happiness, feel the happiness of becoming a developer, right? So this video series is going to help you to become a best developer, right? We have lots of lectures on machine learning, AI, and in fact certifications. If you want to become Sun certified, Oracle certified, you can look at our video series on Java certification. If you want to be a machine learning guru, you look at our programs on machine learning and Python, R, Swift, machine, lots of things. So we are there to back up you, right, to become a developer, right? So see, guys, simple as that. I got my first GUI. Why does it say my first GUI? Because I set the title as, see, set title my first, so it's there. The label is hello. Why does it say hello? Because I set the text as hello, right? So if I change something, right? If I say hello viewers, right? So basically I will have to close the window, right? So just close it. But when I close, I'm closing because I want to run it again. Just notice, look at my mouse at the bottom. The program is still running, right? I will tell you why, right? But it hides it actually, right? But I will show you how to sort it out. But let me run it again. So it's running a new program, but the previous program is hidden in the background. Don't worry about that. But this says hello viewers, right? Awesome, guys, awesome. Now I'm going to close this as well. Now I'm going to show you when I click down, see, both the programs are still running. So what happens is when you close a JFrame, it does not exit the program. It hides the JFrame. So it runs in the memory. It stays in the memory, right? So if you want to avoid this, what you do is, if you want to avoid this, that's what in the slides we said in the order. We said in the lesson plan, guys, now we have done, it's just one more bullet point remaining, right? Just be happy. So it's now we did all the others at the top. now we just have to say something called set default close operation. So what is this set default close operation? So set default close operation means when I run, I'm going to run for the third time and show you. So when I run a GUI, and when you get the window and when you click the close button, there's an event happening. So this event is known as set to capture the event. This event is known as the close operation. So when you close, the default close operation is it doesn't exit, it hides it, right? So if I click down, see, it's the third one is also running. So if you want to change this, you have to call this operation method called set default close operation. So what is set default close operation, right? So once again, we are going to make you developers. So I'm going to show you how you look at it. You will say Java API, say JFrame, right? JFrame set default close operation, right? Java API JFrame set default. So you will be taken to the once again to JFrame class, right? And if you look at the JFrame class, if you look go up and down, search. If you look at up and down and search, you will see that we got something called the set default close operation. Now one thing, we have another video in this video series, a very short video just explaining how to use the API, right? This particular API, right? What is inside it? What can you find? So a very short video, have a look at it for you to get an in-depth knowledge of how to use this API, right? But if you go up and down, you will see there's operation called set default close operation, right? So set default close operation is a method of JFrame. So what I can do is I got an object of JFrame, which is my obj window 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to call that method here. So set default close operation. As you can see, the parameter is an integer. Now you say you don't know what this parameter is. You can see it's an integer, but you don't know what the value of it, right? So what you have to do is you have to look at the API. When you look at the API, it says this int, see, it gives the values. You have these choices, right? So do nothing, hide. So the default is like hiding, right? It hides. That's why the program is still running. So what you want to do is instead of hiding, you want to say exit. You want to say exit, right? So that means you have to call exit on close. Now the question is, how do you call this, right? So it says it's defined in JFrame, which means in the JFrame inside you have to refer to the exit on clause. So what you have to do is you have to again go up and down in the JFrame class and search for that. I'm going to search it here, exit on clause. So when you search it, look at our other video about API if you are not fluent with this, but for now I'm going to keep it simple. So you can see it's a field, it's attribute. Exit on clause is an attribute and it's static, right? So if you don't know what is static, look at our simple video on what is static. We got a simple video what is static. So because it's static, I can call this immediately on JFrame, exit on clause, right? So what you do is you say set default clause operation and you want to pass. So you look at the API and you found you have to say exit on clause, right? I showed you. If you want, go back in this video and listen to that part couple of times, right? Listen to it. So and when you understand it, it's a matter of telling JFrame exit on clause. So what happens is now when you click on the close button, the default operation will be exit. So what happens now is, but before that I will have to go and kind of manually stop one by one because they are still running. These are the previous ones. Are you sure you want to close? Yes. And I have to click one by one, right? So this is not good, but this will not happen now onwards. So now there's nothing. So if I run this now, guys, and see, if I click this, guys, look down, see, there's nothing remaining here. Look at the mouse, it's not running now, it's not running. So this is what the set default close operation does. So if I run it once again, it runs. So while it's running, it's down here, right? But if I click this, now it exits because I changed the behavior. Wonderful, guys. Now we are going to finish the video, but one more thing. Let's say if I want to put a button, right? Once again, look at the API, then you will find there's a class called JButton. We'll say btn, how about btn close, right? The close button equals to new JButton, right? Cool. And then okay, you have to import, guys. Once again, if you look at the API, you will see the JButton is also in Java x.swing, right? So you will have to import it because otherwise the class won't work, right? And then similar to what you did to the label, you will be setting the set text and whatever you want to display in this button. Let us say I want to display the message close, right? And then simply, guys, you just add the button into the window, right? Simple as that. Just add the button to the window. So it's btn close, the button object name, simple as that. You don't have to give the position, as I said, because this is a flow layout, right? Keep in mind this is a flow layout, so you don't have to give the position, right? Awesome, you should see something special. I click the run button, right? Okay, cool. Now what happened here, right? What happened here? Now I can see only the button, right? It's good that this happened. I can't see the label. Why is it? Though I was speaking about the flow layout, though I was speaking, it's good that you came across this problem. Though I was speaking about the flow layout and I said it's there, I did not create an object of the flow layout, right? Very important, guys. If you want the flow layout in your behavior in your program, what you have to do is soon after you create object of JFrame, you will have to create object of flow layout. And where's the package? java.awt. So the package is not always javax.swing, right? So it depends on what the class is, right? So the flow layout comes from java.awt, right? So you have to create an object, guys. Say obj fl shortened form for flow layout, you know. If you want, you can call it as obj flow layout if you think that's more meaningful, right? So flow layout, right? Just create an object of flow layout, right? And you have to set that layout to the container, right? Like you set the bounds, like you set the title. I'm happy to set that as the first thing into the obj window 1. So into the obj window 1, I'm going to say dot set, guess it guys, guess it, it's set layout, and you pass this object obj flow layout. That's very important, guys, if you want this layout behavior to work, because now only your program has a flow layout, right? Now if you run, awesome, my friends, look at the outcome, look at the outcome. You see a label and after that you see a button. Why is it one after the other, right? Simple, guys. The API said the flow layout puts stuff one after the other, right? Aren't you happy, guys? Aren't you happy? Be happy, my friends. So we successfully did our first GUI program, right? And it's working, and we covered the basic concepts, and I'm pretty sure you are so happy by now, right? Because you know how to write a simple GUI program, right? And now let's look at what we did, right? So as a conclusion, what we did was we learned about developing our first GUI program, and we did some practicals. And have a look at this video a couple of times again and again. And if you are not clear about any of the concepts of this video, just have a look at some of the our other videos, right? Look at them and you will see that, you know, we explain the concepts in a very simple manner, right? So the reference was Oracle Java Developer Docs, and feel free to, you know, do Google search and get a lot of stuff. So guys, let's meet again with another wonderful video, right? Okay, see you guys.